into match number 4 we go now, over in League One with a surprise leader on our hands. That's right. Who am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we take a look at League One, of course, and it is match day number 4. No rest for the wicked, of course, with a surprise leader at the tip of the top of the table. Who am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you in a second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe. Also to full Bradford Rovers, League One, World Football. We're going to all here under one Rooski. That's right. Stevenage currently top the charts with a perfect bloody record. That's 3 wins out of 3. That's right. Who has joined them in the automatics? Well, I'll take a good look at it in just a second. Big shout out to the members. Big shout out to the patrons. You know who you are. But let's get into it. Of course, I'm looking back at match day number 3. Well, here we go. The games, of course, on the weekend. Full of shocks and surprises, as you would imagine. In England's third tier. So here we go. Recapping the results. My score on the left, the real deals on the right. Burton Albion have had a good, strong start to the season, I do believe. Or have they? Where are they in the table? Burton. No, 12th. Not the best stuff. But anyway, they did draw with Port Vale. I want the 1-0 win for Burton. I got that one wrong. Meanwhile, Exeter City with a 2-1 loss to Mansfield as they got themselves kick-started their old campaign. Meanwhile, Barnsley could only draw with Bolton 1-1. I want the 2-0 win. Blackpool did beat Huddersfield Town. I went the other way. They were just on a big bad shit bit of form right there. But of course, massive result for Blackpool. Bradford City did beat Luton Town 2-1. Got that one spot on the nose. Meanwhile, Cardiff City with a 3-0 win over Rotherham. I went the 2-0 win. Doncaster did draw with Wycombe 1-1. I went with the 1-0 win. And the Orient and Stockport County 2-2 scoreline. I went with a draw. Lincoln with a 3-2 win over Plymouth. I went with a 2-1 win. Reading did lose to Wimbledon 2-1. I went the other way. Stevenage did beat Northampton Town 2-0. I went with a 0-0 scoreline. And Wigan did beat Peterborough 2-0. And I went with a 1-0. Not too shabby in the end. But what about the table? The table looks like this. It is Stevenage. It is Cardiff in the automatic spots. So with Barnsley, Stockport, Doncaster and Bradford City in those playoffs. Going down, it's Reading, it's Peterborough, it's Plymouth, it's Northampton Town. Goodness gracious me. But it is early days. Nothing is won in August. But it is an interesting start to the campaign, especially if you're a Stevenage FC fan. That's right. But anyway, that is that. This is the link for our prediction league, which will be bringing you back up to date very, very soon. Just keep on predicting. It is free. It is a piece of cake. Once you get into it, you'll love it. And we'll see who our first leader is at the end of the month. But kicking on forward, we are looking at the next round of games, and these are those, I believe. And of course, we do have a bit of a staggered start here because the Rotherham Burton game, I believe it is postponed. But if it was to happen, I'm not going to run through the data, but it would have been a 1-1 scoreline, point apiece between the two sides. Anyway, we're going to go into the games that are taking place coming at you this coming Tuesday. And we're going to start with a trip to Plough Lane. That's right. It is Wimbledon. They're going to be taking on Cardiff City. That's right, coming at you on the 19th of August. Johnny Jackson's boys are 10th right now, 6 points of a possible 9 against Cardiff and the Brian Barron Murphy, who are second. They've won, they've got 7 points, 7 possible 9. They played each other just the once since 2015. It was a win for Cardiff. It was way back in August 2015. It was in Wales. It was an EFL Cup. But they've yet to take on each other in the league. Wimbledon, though, on the back of a 2-1 win over Reading. Cardiff with that 3-0 win over Rotherham. Goodness gracious me. But the odds for this one, 10 to 9, actually 23-10 is your Wimbledon, 11-10 is your Cardiff. 12-5 is a draw. This one's tight. This one's tight. I might go for a curveball here. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win. Wimbledon, of course. A long way to go for Cardiff fans. Wimbledon on a Tuesday as well, Tuesday night. So difficult stuff. And I think Wimbledon will be a little bit stubborn and will force the victory on this one. Meanwhile, Huddersfield Town taking on Doncaster Rovers. That's right. Lee Grant's boys are 7th for 6 points of a possible 9. Against Doncaster under Grant McCann, who are 5th with 7 points and unbeaten start of the campaign. And actually unbeaten in the last 6 matches. In fact, they haven't lost any of the last 10 away matches or any of the last 20 matches. Goodness gracious me. Coming into this, they have played 16 times since 2003. 4 wins Huddersfield, 7 wins Doncaster, 5 draws between the two sides. Last time around, competitively, in the league at Huddersfield, it was a 0-0 scoreline way back in September 2013. Huddersfield did lose to Blackpool 3-2 in a bit of a thriller in that last match. Doncaster with a draw against Wycombe at Keepmoat. Most recently, of course, they did beat Borough in the Cup as well. What a week it was for Huddersfield Town. But coming into this, the bookies, 10-9 on is your Huddersfield, 30-5 is your Doncaster, 11-4 is the draw. Surprising start to Huddersfield in my eyes. I think they've been pretty solid thus far. I think they'll continue in this one with some goals. 3-1 win of Doncaster Rovers to put them in the driving seat. Luton Town, they need to bounce back after a bit of an upset last week. Up against Wigan, coming at you at Bloomfield, at Kenilworth Road. That's right, Blackfield. Luton, of course, 3 defeats in the first 4 matches in all competitions. I've got to look into that. That sounds a bit sus. But I might be right. What are we looking at? Yeah, one of them was a friendly. So one was in the cup. So it's not as bad as it. They are in ninth right now, 6 points of a possible 9. Wigan under Ryan Lowe also on 6 points, but they're of course 8th in the table at the moment. They played each other 8 times in 2002, 3 wins Luton, 2 wins Wigan. There's been 3 draws between the two sides. Last time around at the DW competitively, it was a 1-1 scoreline way back in January 2023 as an FA Cup. Meanwhile, the last time they played at Luton Town in the league was a 2-1 win for Wigan. In fact, the home side hasn't won this game since Luton beat Wigan at the Kenilworth Road back in December 2019. Luton on the back of a 2-1 loss to Bradford. Wigan on the back of a 2-0 win over Peterborough. Back-to-back clean sheets for Wigan in all competitions, so pretty solid at the moment under Ryan Lowe. The odds for this one, Luton are 13-8 for the victory. That's 13-8 on. 92 is your Wigan. 27-10 is the draw if you look at it that way. I've got to go with a 2-1 win. Luton Town, bounce back ability for them, and of course start to kick on towards the top end of the table. Mansfield Town taking on Blackpool. That's right, coming at you over at Mansfield. Nigel Clough's boys are on 16th right now. It's 3 points of a possible 9. Back-to-back wins for them in all competitions. Up against Steve Bruce, who are 17th with 3 points as well. Just 1 win over the last 6 games. Rough start for the Tangerines. They played 7 times since 2002. 4 wins Mansfield, 1 for Blackpool. 2 draws between the two sides. Last time around over at Mansfield, it was a 2-0 win for Mansfield back in October 2024. Mansfield on the back of that 2-1 win over Exeter. Blackpool beating Huddersfield Town at Bloomfield Road as well. 7-5 is your Mansfield. 7-4 is your Blackpool. They don't know what they're doing. 12-5 is the draw. I'm going to go with a 1-0 away win for Blackpool. Of course, Ennis on fire. He's scoring the goals, and hopefully he'll kick it a gear as well for them. Ex-Rover and all that. Meanwhile, Northampton Town taking on Lincoln. About 6 fields, played 19 times in 2003. 5 wins for the hosts, 7 wins for the visitors. There's been 7 draws between the two sides. Coming into this, though, Northampton Town under Kevin Nolan, just the 1 point of a possible 9 there, 21st of the table. Up against Lincoln, Scabula's boys, 6 points of a possible 9. They're sitting all right at the moment, winning 4 of the last 5 matches competitively. Last time around, over at Northampton Town was a 1-0 win for Lincoln, who did the double over Northampton Town last season. Northampton only winning once of the last 6 against their opposition. They're coming into this, though, Northampton Town on the back of a 2-0 loss to Stevenage. It's been 3 games now in the league, actually 3 games competitively without a goal for Northampton Town. Just 1 goal, space of 4 games, both in the league and in the cup. Meanwhile, Lincoln City, 3-2 winners over Plymouth most recently, scoring 6 goals in the space of 7 days, has given themselves a big old boost. The odds for this one, though, 23-10 is your Northampton Town, 23-20 is your Lincoln City, 23-10 is also the draw. Again, bookies don't know what they're doing. I'm going to go with a draw as well, right down the middle. It's very difficult to decipher this one. Meanwhile, Peterborough taking on Barnsley. That's right, not the best start as well. For Peterborough under a bit of a transitional season. They're bottom end there, 23rd with no points so far. Up against Barnsley and Conor Hoonihane, who are 3rd with 7 points thus far. 29 times they have played since 1993. 10 wins Peterborough, 14 wins Barnsley. 5 draws between the two sides. Last time around over at the Posh, it was a 3-1 win for Barnsley back in December 2024. In fact, the away side is pretty good in this one. The home side's only won once in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 matches. So the home side pretty much the outsider in this competition. Peterborough on the back of a 2-0 loss to Wigan. Barnsley on the back of a 1-1 score against Bolton most recently. The odds here, 8-5 is your Peterborough, 7-5 is your Barnsley. Again, bookies finding it difficult. 27-10 is the draw. Difficult in these early stages, and I think I'm going with a 2-1 win for the Posh to upset the appetite and get their first win under the new campaign here. Peterborough, there was this there. We're taking on Plymouth now as they take on Leyton. Orient coming at you over on the coast. That's right. Plymouth under Tom Cleverley, just 1 win in the possible 4. That's right. They're 22nd with no points as well. Up against Leyton Orient and Richie Wellens, 14th at the table, 4 points of a possible 9. They have played each other 11 times since 2011, 5 wins apiece and 1 draw. Last time around over at Plymouth, it was a 2-0 win for Plymouth. That was back in August 2023 in the EFL Cup. Last time they played in the league, there was a 4-0 win for Plymouth. Same venue back in October 2019 in League 2. Goodness gracious me. Plymouth on the back of a 3-2 loss to Lincoln. The Orient could only draw against Stockport in a bit of a thriller match as well. The odds here, 7-4 is your Plymouth, 29-20 is your Orient, 23-10 is the draw. It is midweek. Long way to go wherever you are in the world. 2-0 winners. Going to go with the Green Army on this to give them a big old boost. Port Vale, they're taking on Stevenage, tip at the top of the table. Of course, bit of a crunchy clash in this one. Played 21 times since 2009. 4 wins Vale, 6 wins Stevenage, 11 draws between the two sides. Port Vale, though, 19th for the table, 2 points of a possible 9. Not the best start, but they're unbeaten in the last 3 matches in all competitions and all venues. Just 1 defeat in the last 5. Stevenage, 4 wins out of possible 5 in the last matches, whether it is in the league, cup, or friendlies. Of course, perfect record so far in the league as well. Last time they played at Vale in the league, it was a 2-2 draw way back in February 2024. Port Vale on the back of that 0-0 draw against Burton, back-to-back clean sheets. In fact, they've got 3 clean sheets on the spin at Port Vale. Stevenage on the back of a 2-0 win over Northampton Town. The odds here, 31-20, your Port Vale, 50-8, your Stevenage, 2-1 is the draw. Stevenage table toppers. Gonna go with a 2-1 upset here. First defeat of the season in my eyes. Port Vale going to take it to the house. Next up, we go Stockport County, who are breathing down their necks, taking on Bradford in a bit of a ding-dong classic over at Edgeley Park. Stockport under David Sharma, 4 points, fourth in the table, 7 points for the possible 9. Unbeaten start to the campaign forward in the last 4 matches, 3 wins and a draw. Bradford City, those also come into this, 5th in the table, 7 points of a possible 9 as well. Unbeaten campaign, and we witnessed that ourselves when they came to Ewood Park and smashed us. Took all 3, took the big W. Played 17 times since 1997. 5 wins Stockport, 7 wins Bradford, 5 draws between the two sides, including a draw. They last played in the league at Edgeley Park. It was a 1-1 scoreline way back in August 2023. In fact, the last 3 competitive matches in the league, should I say, have all ended up all square. But it is a very tight encounter between these two sides. Stockport on the back of a draw against Leyton, Orient, Bradford, and the 2-1 monster win over Luton Town. The odds for this one, 2019 on is your Stockport, 11-4 is your Bradford, 12-5 is the draw. I was leaning to, right now I can't really remember what I put in here, but I don't think Stockport lose this game. I'll put it that way. I think I'm going to go with, because they're both on a good bit of form, I've gone with a 3-1 win for Stockport County. Reading that, looking back at the track records here for the first time, I'm probably leaning towards a draw, but I think Stockport County are definitely in a better position at the moment to snatch it. And to the final couple, we go Wycombe up against Exeter City. That's right, much at Adams Park. Mike Dodds rock there, down there, 20th with just the 1 point so far for the campaign. Up against Exeter and Gary Caldwell, they are 15th with 3 points of a possible 9. They played 26 times in 2008. 10 wins Wycombe, 8 wins Exeter, 8 draws between the two sides. Last time around, over at Wycombe in the league, it was a 2-1 win for Wycombe back in New Year's Day 2025. There's a 2-1 win for Wycombe. Wycombe are on the back of a draw against Doncaster. Exeter on the back of that 2-1 loss to Mansfield. The odds here, 13-8 is your Wycombe, 4-1 is your Exeter, 3-1 is the draw. Not the biggest fan right now of Mike Dodds and Wycombe. I don't think they're a good match, but I think they'll win this game. 2-1 win, boosting the start to the season, hopefully, for their own sake. And then finally, we've got a ding-dong classic on Wednesday. It's Bolton up against Reading on the 20th of August. Stephen Schumacher's boys are 13th with 4 points of a possible 9. Up against Reading in a no-hunt, rock bottom. 5 defeats the last 6 matches, and the only win was in the league, and that was against Championship Portsmouth. Goodness gracious me. Anyway, these two sides have played 23 times since 1995. 8 wins Bolton, 9 wins Reading, 6 draws between the two sides. Last time around, over at Bolton, it was a 5-2 win for Bolton back in September 2024. They're coming at you this campaign. Bolton on the back of that draw against Barnsley. Reading on the back of that 2-1 away loss. Sorry, a home loss to Wimbledon. Goodness gracious me. 7-4 on is your Bolton. 17-4 is your Reading. 31-10 is the draw. They've got new owners, right? I don't know what's gone wrong here for Reading, but I think they're going to lose this one as well. 2-0 win. In my eyes, guys, that's what I think will happen. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. It will look like this. Stockport County will be your new leaders. Huddersfield Town in second spot. Stevenage down in third. Luton, Wimbledon, and Cardiff make up your playoffs. Plymouth, Peterborough, Northampton down, and Reading going down at the moment. But of course, it is a long off season. Nothing again is won in August. And again, don't forget the old prediction league. We'll give you an update video soon. But until then, guys, that's all I've got for you. Subscribe, smash the like. I'll see you soon when I return. But until then, we're done.